Hello, everyone. This is Tim McCoy coming to you from Healthy for Life and Aspire to Wellness 3 years after the fact. We started Aspire a little over 3 years ago now, and the purpose of that was to help people with metabolic health. Metabolic dysfunction is such a huge problem in our country. And one morning after Andy spoke, Dr. Nish spoke and said, Brian came to me and said, "Do you think Andy would be willing to come here and do a course on metabolic health or metabolic dysfunction?" So we did. So for the last 3 years, we have been spending time with people. I think we're roughly 90 people have taken the course, either directly through that or follow up after the class. We've had a number of those folks. And so we're back today to talk to you about what did we learn in 3 years, what difference has it made, and what are we going to do as we move forward? How are we going to change? Because change is something that happens regularly all the time. Got to keep changing, got to keep learning. And so Andy and I are just going to kick back and forth what he's learned, what I learned, and then talking about this new class. The next one begins September 15th, 6:30 here. And aspire to wellness.co, and you can learn all about it as well as sign up for the course. So with that in mind, Andy?
I better introduce myself.
Yes, go ahead.
So I'm Andy Nish. I'm a medical doctor, MD. I practiced interventional radiology for 29 years. Went back, did integrative medicine, and I have recently retired as medical director of the John Stoddard Cancer Center. And Tim and I kind of worked together in this program for 3 years, and it's hard to believe it's been 3 years, but I think we've both learned an incredible amount from interacting with people, listening to their stories, and really trying to keep up on literature and research and reading and trying to learn more ourselves.
Yeah. That's a good place to start. So why don't you start? What have you learned in 3 years?
Oh my gosh. I wanted to say, nothing, I knew it all, but that is absolutely not true. You know, we learn from our clients, we learn from reading, we learn from other people, right?
Yes.
And I think, the thing for me that's been most surprising, not only in this course, but in my integrative oncology practice, is the power of people's histories and stories. What they've been told in the past and how they carry that with them in their present day lives and future. And most of the time those stories are completely false narratives of who they are.
Yes.
And those false narratives lead to anxiety, not feeling good enough, not being able to, and all these not. And I know you're a big story guy.
You just stole my thunder. Yeah, I mean, I guess sitting down with people, and I knew this. I mean, I wrote a paper on this, if you remember. I don't know who read it, but it was that whole idea. We come into this world like this, and then we go through a period where our childhood experiences begin to define us, and they define us subconsciously. We begin to hear this, and we begin to see the tension as we grow up, and then we continue to interpret those stories, and those stories become very, very powerful. Eventually, those stories land in our bodies. They become our identity, and with it becomes incredible amounts of stress. Stress becomes a problem with all the stuff we start with when it comes to nutrition and movement, stress, sleep, environmental, social, our connections, relationships. And so what I learned in the very first class we did, 3 years ago, was listening. Hi, Tim, I'm going to have to drop out of the class. Oh, really? Was it something we said or something we did? This is below, and they looked at me.
Good job. We pissed the guy off.
We pissed them off. And I had two people that I respect very much. I'm just not smart enough to do this, to be successful with my health. Because that's what we were talking about, the classes.
And where did that come from?
Yes.
Right?
It was just, I mean, I would sit there and go, you're not smart enough. And of course, we would work on that because that's my job. Well, tell me about that because that has a story attached to it. And then people would say, well, in the second grade, Mrs. McGillicuddy, because I learned later, Tim, in life, I'm dyslexic. Well, back then that was interpreted, I was retarded. And this is a person sitting there telling me that.
Yeah.
And of course, they'll never be successful with their nutrition, everything like that, if they believe they're not smart enough. So I learned to listen better. I learned to look for and grab a hold of the story and see how important the story was.
Yeah.
We didn't give as much emphasis to that at the beginning of the course. So I've learned, and I think you learned, because I think you're the one that said to me last fall,
Yeah.
you need to spend more time on this story stuff.
We do.
Yeah, we do. And so that's what we've learned. That's what
Yeah.
I've learned.
Well, I think we've both learned it. We talk about mind body. We need to get rid of that. It's not dualistic, okay? It's mind and body. They're one and the same.
Right.
And we look at it, when we look at it from a Western medical perspective, we look at biochemistry and biomechanics and all of this. I'm going to tell you, for this next course, I've changed my thought and philosophy on this, and I'm going to approach it completely differently.
Yeah.
I'm going to approach it from,
Tell us about that.
I am going to, because I'm very excited. I'm excited about
Yeah.
this, because it explains so many things.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at it from the standpoint of energy.
Yes.
And not energy woo-woo, that's part of it, but energy.
Yeah.
In order for a cell to live, it has to produce energy, right?
Yes.
When we die, we produce no energy. And we've always thought in our medical model that our ability to produce energy was limitless, right? We call it the additive model. So I have basic metabolic processes I got to take care of, and I've got growth and all that I have to take care of. But then I have part of this active energy expenditure like exercise. Well, if I exercise more and more and more and more, I'll burn more and more and more and more. And we know that's not true. It's called the energy constraint model. So
Yeah.
we are constrained at a threshold of energy which our body can actually produce.
Yes.
And there's many reasons for that. But if we have a constrained model and we only have so much energy we can produce, then our bodies are like a business and we have to budget energy to different processes. So we have vital processes running our organs, right? Our heart's beating, our brain's working, our liver's filtering, our kidneys are working. That takes a very specific amount of energy, and it's not negotiable.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And then we have growth, maintenance, and repair. So kids are growing, we're maintaining our organs, we're maintaining our cells, we're repairing things, so our DNA always has mismatches and things. We have to repair those. And then we have stressors. So we have to budget energy for stressors.
Yeah.
And stressors are everything in our environment. Okay? I mean, everything.
Right.
The air we breathe, the water we drink, the pollutants we're exposed to, the chemicals we're exposed to, the stress in life that we're exposed to, okay? The exercise that we do. Anything external is really a stressor.
Yes.
And so how do we budget that energy is dependent so much on our life and lifestyle.
Yes.
So if we're constantly anxious and we're constantly worried and we're constantly ruminating about things, or we're living with something we've been told in the past and that's causing us to worry or whatever,
Yes.
that's energy that's expended as a stressor that could better be spent in growth, maintenance, and repair. So we're not able to repair those cells that are damaged. We're not able to repair that DNA. And all of a sudden, we're left with the chronic diseases that we all have. Diabetes, heart disease, cancer, neurodegenerative disease. I think when I look at this energy constraint model, it explains virtually everything that we have and come down with. So I really love putting it in energetic terms.
Yes.
So how do we partition so that we better use energy for growth, maintenance, and repair, as opposed to energy that's wasted worrying about things or telling us the wrong story? The other flip side of that is, how do we make sure that the energy that's being produced by our cells is optimal?
Yes.
Okay? Because there's many things in our environment, our society, that decrease the function of these little cellular organs called mitochondria that
Yes.
produce the energy. So we can poison our mitochondria through chemicals. We can poison our mitochondria through too much sugar intake. We can poison our mitochondria through ultra-processed food. We can poison our mitochondria through unmitigated stress and anxiety.
Yes.
So there's two sides of that equation. We need to optimize our energy production, and we need to appropriately budget that energy for wellness and longevity.
Yes. And taking off of that, I started looking at what I learned is how hard it is for people to change. And in the wellness world, we just encourage people, and they do this program. We educate them. That becomes a mental thing. They learn, and I learned that there's no one that we ever had that didn't know that a Twinkie was bad for you. We had no one that took the class.
Wait a minute, Twinkies are a
Yeah,
health
they're
food.
fine. Yeah, and so I started looking at the science of transformation. This is the science of change, and I started going upstream and so learning the sequence. So there's the body, and there's the mind all together, but owing up to what we call spiritual. We called it spirituality and not religion. Spirit could be wind, it could be energy, it could be breath, it could be all those things. And people change at the level of identity, how they see themselves. Mm-hmm. I am this. Mm-hmm. And that will eventually, when that is a negative thing from people, or it could be a really positive thing, like parents that always reinforce performance. I am a performer, and I can do it, and I'm like that, which puts an inordinate amount of stress on the body eventually.
Well, and we mislabel ourselves, right? I am stupid. No, you're Jim.
Yes.
So who labeled you that, right?
Yes.
We carry these labels with us. You used a word, transform.
Yes.
I also use that with energy. So the first law of thermodynamics says
Yes.
energy can neither be created or destroyed. So we always talk about, well, I'm producing energy. No, you're not. You're transforming food, which is one energetic source,
Yes.
into another energetic source called ATP, which is the energy currency in our body. So we're constantly transforming food into energy,
Yes.
into the energy our cells can use. We're talking about a different type of transformation, but it's still energetic.
It's still energetic.
Yeah.
And so that for me is, we're basically with the course starting in September is going to be we're just going to kind of reverse the sequence.
Yeah.
We're still going to do nutrition. We're still going to talk about movement. We're still going to talk about sleep and stress.
But they
and
all
everything.
are important in how we transform energy from food
Yes.
into cellular energy.
Yes.
Every one of those is important.
Yeah.
And so that's why energy just isn't about food.
Right.
Yes, it's the source of how we get energy, and we know about calories and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But how we take that food and transform it into energy is influenced by every other thing in our life. The
Yes.
sleep we get, the movement we have, the socialization we do, the unmitigated stress many of us are under,
Yes.
and how do we change those to optimize the way our cells function. The first thing we learned in integrative medicine is the body is remarkable at healing given the appropriate inputs.
Yes.
And I think that's true.
Yes.
You know,
I do too.
you told me your knee got hurt,
Yeah.
and you wanted it instantly healed, right?
A couple days.
It takes time,
Yes.
but your body is really good at it.
Yes. It's
And
working.
your inputs, eating appropriate food and getting appropriate rest, are just so important.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come, it's not a peptide. These peptides are driving me nuts. Like, why does somebody want to inject themselves with these things? There's no
Yeah.
science behind it. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't take an expensive machine. It just takes practical life skills
Yes.
and a good grocery budget.
And a good grocery budget. Yes.
So
anyway, that is, I think the only difference, that all the alumni out there, they're going to come and take the course. You're going to get the same amount of content. It's just going to be in a different order. And the addition, Andy's going to add this whole idea of energy, related to our bodies, related to what happens when energy's reduced, energy's depleted, from all kinds of ways that it can happen like that, and particularly what it is we believe about ourselves. As a person believes at the core of who they are, so do they live, and so that's what we're going to be doing, and looking forward to doing this again with you. And anything you want to add to this video?
I think that, finishing up my 35 careers in traditional medicine, taking my integrative medicine training, being here in this setting, it's just, we all have the power, we all have the internal resources to be well.
Yes.
It's just a matter of how do we adjust our lifestyle so that we can optimize our function. You think of a car and a carburetor, right? I mean, carburetors are years old, they're out, but let's use that as an analogy. We fine tune it so we get the most horsepower out of our engine, energy. How do we fine tune our bodies to get the most horsepower out of our bodies? Energy. How do we allocate our energetic resources so that we feel well, we can do the things we want to do, and we can live a long and very fruitful life?
Yes.
That's what we want.
That's what we want. Yes. The optimal life living.
Yeah.
So we hope you will join us September 15th, right here.
6:30.
6:30.
Yeah.
Healthy for Life.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hope to see you.